1, 3, 70, 100, 200, 250। ये गिनती पार नहीं लगेगी। इन्हें गिनने से पहले ही तुम आ जाते हो बम और गोली लेकर, गिनती की तादाद बढ़ाने। लम्हे की रुपहली तस्वीर कोई देखे आकर। It seems as though these lines describe a scene from Palestine, but these are the lines from a collection Aankhon Dekhi written in the first days of Bhagalpur Massacre in 1989 by Manazir Ashik Haryanvi. Recently, members of right-wing Hindutva group staged a protest in Nagpur demanding the removal of Aurangzeb's non-existent tomb. They burnt an effigy of Aurangzeb and a chadar with Quranic inscriptions on it. While violence grew in Nagpur, many right-wing handles were quick to post on social media, "Nagpur violence has a solution," alongside pictures of cauliflower farms. In India, the vegetable has become a symbol of coded rhetoric inciting Islamophobia and glorifying violence against Muslims in the garb of humor. It alludes to the Logain massacre, also known as the Cauliflower Massacre, during the 1989 Bhagalpur violence, where hundreds of Muslims were brutally murdered and their bodies were buried in an open field and were camouflaged by the plantation of cauliflower and cabbage saplings to hide the evidence. In 1989, in Bhagalpur district of Bihar, clashes between Hindus and Muslims continued for over 2 months, resulting in nearly 1,000 deaths, of which over 900 were Muslims. The immediate trigger of the Bhagalpur riots was a 5-day Ramshila program collecting bricks for the proposed Ram Mandir in Ayodhya. As part of a wider nationwide Ram Janmabhoomi campaign, the Vishwa Hindu Parishad organized processions in August. The participants were armed with swords, sticks, spears and farsans. They were screaming slogans like "Bachcha Bachcha Ram Ka, Baki Sab Haram Ka." In an already tensed environment, a rumor was on loose in late October that around 200 Hindu students living near the university area have been killed by Muslims in Bhagalpur. Another rumor followed that 31 Hindu boys had been murdered and their bodies dumped in a well at the Sanskrit college. As it turned out, both the rumors were baseless, but they had already fanned the communal violence. In fact, all 12 bodies found in the well were identified as the family members of a Muslim man, Muhammad Javed. This resulted in an outbreak of communal riots on October 24, 1989. The violence was ignited after a Hindu religious procession came under attack. What followed over the next month was nothing but an organized massacre of one group. Over the next few weeks, organized mobs of thousands would burn over 250 villages and mass killings would take place across the district. Official figures put the death toll at around 1,000, with 90% of them being Muslims. But independent estimates say that the death toll was higher. In Bihar's Bhagalpur, the violence lasted nearly 2 months. A total of 11,500 houses in 195 villages were destroyed, displacing 48,000 people. Additionally, 68 mosques and 20 mazars were destroyed. The Bhagalpur silk industry, primarily led by Muslims, suffered severe devastation, with 600 power looms and 1,700 handlooms burnt, causing immense economic loss and wiping out livelihoods. Survivors have maintained that the then Superintendent of Police of Bhagalpur, K.S. Dwivedi, played a direct role in the riots. As the top officer in charge of law and order, he not only failed in his duty to stop the violence, but also issued instructions to his force to target the Muslims. This is not just an exaggerated claim made by the survivors. The 1995 Commission of Inquiry reports by Justice Ram Chandra Prasad Sinha and S. Shamsul Hassan blamed the administration, press, and the police for disseminating false information in an already communalized situation. The report held Dwivedi wholly responsible for the carnage. The commission noted, "We would hold Dwivedi, the then SSP of Bhagalpur, wholly responsible for whatever happened before October 24, 1989, on 24th and after 24th. His communal bias was fully demonstrated by his manner of arresting Muslims and by not extending adequate help to protect them." Few months before the carnage, in Vishwa Hindu Parishad processions, On the occasion of Muharram, Dwivedi had warned Muslims that he would make Bhagalpur another Karbala, implying a massacre of its Muslim residents. The carnage took place in a Congress ruling Bihar, while Satyendra Narayan Sinha was the chief minister. When Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi visited Bhagalpur during the riots, he ordered the immediate transfer of SSP Dwivedi. This triggered protests from Vishwa Hindu Parishad and other Hindu right-wing groups, forcing Rajiv to revoke his transfer order. Rajiv gave into the pressure of the perpetrators and Dwivedi's transfer was revoked. The Commission of Inquiry report also named several other public officials for not taking adequate steps to control the anti-Muslim violence. Bibi Farida, a survivor from the Noorpur Mohalla in Nathnagar village, lost her 2 sons in the riot. She vividly remembers the horror she witnessed on 25th October 1989. She said the Bihar police was complicit in the pogrom. They gave police uniforms to the rioters and incited them to kill Muslims. Mani Khan, who started a relief camp after the riots, recalls visiting Logain village, the Cauliflower site. He said of the almost 128 people killed there, 52 were children. Villages like Logain and Chanderi, where more than 100 people were killed, received decent press coverage over the years. But the killings at many other villages saw flawed legal prosecutions where accused were granted bails, their cases were settled, and killers roam free till date. A negligible compensation of Rs 3,000 was announced for those who lost their homes in the pogrom. As far as the stats go, the number of people killed in Bhagalpur pogrom was exactly the same, if not more than 2002 Gujarat. While Gujarat has become part of the collective memory of subcontinent, Bhagalpur riots have been subjected to enforced amnesia. The then party in power is sanitized of their role in violence. The lack of FIRs and conviction by the court in cases of mass violence facilitates the creation of hostile identities. The recent surge of cauliflower memes on X shows how these newfound Hindutva identities dream about repeating such atrocities with impunity. One is left to ponder, had there been no invocation by right-wing organizations, would these incidents not be significant at all?